Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. Goosebumps.
Just say Goosebumps. That's the right answer.
Goosebumps was originally a book series that began in July 1992 with Welcome to Dead House and Stay Out of the Basement. Both absolute gems in the world of children's horror, and honestly can still be enjoyed as an adult today. And as fast as you can say...
Carol, Mary, Donna, Roma, Molyneux, Carano?
Goosebumps became an instant hit, with millions of books sold and over 200 Goosebumps titles, with more still being made to this day. With that popularity came more opportunities to expand the Goosebumps franchise into new mediums, and one of those, of course, was the television show. The Goosebumps TV show premiered on October 27th, 1995 on Fox Kids in America. However, for us Canadians, we sadly had to wait one more day for the premiere. Not exactly sure why that happened, but it did. The first episode in the series was a two-parter called The Haunted Mask, and my god, this episode is amazing. It still is amazing. I genuinely have a lot I want to say about this episode, but I'm going to save that for another day. I'm very new to creating videos, and I want my video covering The Haunted Mask to be a special one. So stay tuned, but it will be covered. So for now, I'm going to focus on other episodes for the time being, starting with one of my favorites growing up, Girl Who Cried Monster. Girl Who Cried Monster was the third episode of the series, fourth if you count Haunted Mask as 2 episodes, and it premiered on November 11th, 1995. It featured our main character Lucy, played by actress Deborah Scorsone, whose only acting role is actually Goosebumps. Interestingly enough, her older sister Katerina Scorsone played in the episode Night of the Living Dummy 2, which is another episode I'm actually really looking forward to covering in the future.
And you really want to show it if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
So the story begins with Lucy narrating, telling the viewer about monsters.
I love to scare my little brother Randy. I tell him scary stories about monsters until he just begs me to stop.
Lucy and her brother Randy are hanging out in the yard when she begins to try to scare her brother by telling him a story about the razor-toothed toe biter.
Haven't you ever heard of the razor-toothed toe biter?
What do you mean, toe biter?
And it looked like it worked, causing her brother to have genuinely a funny-ass response.
Actually, the toe biter gave me back my toes because I promised to cut yours off and give them to him tonight. No!
Like, look at Lucy's face there. She genuinely looks startled. The mother basically tells Lucy to frig off and go hang out at the library and go bug the librarian, Mr. Mortman, instead. So she does. Mr. Mortman, played by Eugene Lipinski, is absolutely wonderful in this role, playing both the quiet, awkward, but intense.
Perhaps we all have a little monster in us.
And also the over-the-top zany monster you would kind of hope from a kid's show. And you know what? I am absolutely here for it. Lucy complains to Mr. Mortman about how boring Black Beauty is and wishes it was a monster horse instead. So this time she decides to grab Frankenstein, which brings us to this scene.
Wouldn't it be cool if they were real monsters?
Well, I'm not so sure, Aaron. Most people like to be frightened in movies or stories. Not in real life.
Shortly after leaving, Lucy remembers that she left her roller skates back inside. Her friend Erin heads home while she goes back. There's a really fun part when she's walking towards the building where this like black cat basically just gets like thrown at her feet by some cast member, and I don't know why, I always found it really funny. Oh, also we get this close-up of a spooky stone face. Once inside, Lucy starts hearing strange noises and Mr. Mortman saying weird things. When Lucy gets closer, she sees Mortman eating crickets and then transforms into a monster. And not gonna lie, the monster effects are actually pretty decent. And I love the design with the eyes moving all around, kind of like some like alien crab monster. Very cool. Obviously frightened, Lucy runs away, and then you get the classic Goosebumps moment with a character running from a monster while hearing it yell from behind. Oh, and we get the stone face again. Lucy runs home to tell her parents, but because she's told so many monster stories before, they don't believe her. Also, I want you to keep note of this moment. You know, this moment where Lucy's telling her parents about the monster and them not believing her. It'll be important for later. Just watch. We also get this great line from the dad.
I happen to like big meatballs.
Later that night, Lucy is talking on the phone with her friend Erin, explaining what happened. And to no surprise, he doesn't believe her either. Lucy decides the best course of action is to get solid proof, so the next day she sets out with camera in tow and visits Mortman once again. Lucy and Mortman discuss Frankenstein being a sympathetic character, which promptly gives us this great line.
Do you believe in monsters?
Perhaps we all have a little monster in us.
Again, great line, and has a lot more meaning than the first-time viewer is aware of. Lucy pretends to leave the building and promptly sneaks back to spy on Mortman. This time, Mortman eats a spider, which as a kid I always hated watching, and to be honest, it's still pretty gross now. And once again, he turns into that lovable crab beast who really needs to brush his teeth. Lucy, forgetting the flash is on, is accidentally spotted by Monster Mortman, who begins chasing her around while saying all the best puns.
Keep running, little one. I love fast food.
She finally manages to escape, and we get this great scene with Mortman yelling to Lucy to come back.
Lucy! Come back! Come back!
Which still kind of freaks me out a bit. Lucy calls up Aaron once again to tell him what happened, and Aaron warns her that Mortman has her library card, therefore knowing where she lives, and he could be there any moment. She decides to leave, but as she opens the door, who other to be there than Mr. Mortman himself, back in human form. There's a really creepy scene exchanged between Lucy and Mortman where he tries to enter the house, and it's just very uncomfortable.
You left your backpack at the library. I have it right here.
But we do get this funny line.
Mom, is Dad still cleaning his rifle?
It's okay.
When her parents arrive home, Lucy frantically tries to get them to take her into town to get the photos developed, and after a bit of coaxing, they give in. After getting the pictures developed, she once again runs into Mortman, knocking over the pictures. Lucy's parents see Mortman and ask him to come over for dinner, giving us another great line from Mortman.
Thank you. It's been so long since I've had a home-cooked meal.
Once Mortman arrives, the family all gather together where Mortman gets offered one of Dad's famous big meatballs. Mortman then asks, what's for dinner, giving us this scene.
Well, it was going to be a surprise, but...
Since you asked, you are.
The parents turn into monsters and then, rather violently for a kid's show, begin devouring Mortman, eating the monster alive. The parents then explain that they didn't believe Lucy was telling the truth because no monsters had appeared in a while? Well, why were they all weird about the topic about monsters to begin with? I don't know, in my opinion it's a pretty weak twist and honestly really doesn't make that much sense, and I think they were just going for that shock value. It does tend to happen often in Goosebumps where the twist ending isn't very satisfactory or it kind of goes against what the book or the show is telling us so far. Not the worst ending by any means, but still one of the weaker ones. Afterwards, we get another fake out where the family thinks there's another monster outside, but instead it's Lucy's friend Aaron. Luckily for Aaron, Dad's not really in the mood for more food, but a silly little prank and some pie. So overall, I loved this episode. Loved it as a kid, and honestly, it still holds up pretty well today. The acting is decent, however, Eugene Lipinski as Mortman really stole the show. His quiet timidness was well performed, especially when in contrast to when he turns into the monster and is much more loud and expressive. I thought the story overall was good, using themes from Boy Who Cried Wolf, like the whole message of not telling lies because eventually no one will believe those lies and it might come back to bite you in the end. However, the ending really should have followed through with that message, maybe having a somewhat darker ending like we do see in some of the Goosebumps episodes where, maybe Lucy doesn't escape from the monster or have an ending where her fate is uncertain. But I guess at the end of the day, it is a kid's show and maybe having the main character eaten by a monster might not sit too well with the kids. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I have many more of these planned, and honestly, at this point, I would like to cover all the episodes, if possible. So let me know what you think about Goosebumps, especially this episode. Have you read the books, and what other episodes would you like to see me cover? Have a good one.